what we need for flash flooding to occur would be about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall overnight tonight. So that is something to monitor. Please do not drive through a flooded road if you come across that. That is dangerous. You don't know if that road's been compromised beneath the water that is sitting on there. So please find a different route if you do come across a flooded road overnight tonight. The tornado warnings do continue through the bottom of the hour for Colbert, Lauderdale, and Franklin counties. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, the areas of rotation are weakening some. So that is fantastic news. Hopefully we will get rid of that rotation. Still dangerous storms, though. Definitely don't need to be monitoring this outside right now. There's a lot of heavy rain. There may be some small hail mixed in there. Damaging wind is probably going to be the primary threat as this kind of transitions into a complex of storms rather than the discrete storms that we had earlier. I would say in particular down here in northwest parts of Franklin County, there is likely some damaging straight line wind ongoing just to the north and east of Red Bay. Right around here has been the area we've been watching for rotation, but that rotation is kind of broadening out a little bit. So this is going to be something that we'll watch for a straight line wind threat, maybe more so than an immediate tornado threat for those locations. And that could generally be heading toward Russellville. So Russellville, you're not currently in the tornado warning, but this strong storm is heading in your general direction, and I think you could be in line for some damaging straight line winds close to maybe 8:45 or so. The rain already heading your direction, but it's going to be right around here where we could see some of the strongest winds heading your way in about 20 to 30 minutes from now. So you do not want to be near windows when those strong winds are passing by, because if that wind picks up debris, crashes into the window, that becomes a danger as well. I do want to pop up the velocity to get an idea of what kind of wind that's producing. There you go. See that almost bowing segment right there? That would be a sign of some strong straight line winds pushing through northwest parts of Franklin County right now, pushing east. That would put in line for right around Russellville in about 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to put a track on this specific part. Moving east at about 40 miles per hour. So around 8:40 or so in Russellville is when we could see some damaging straight line winds heading your direction. Again, I know you're not in the tornado warning. You may not be hearing siren sound, but now is a good time to get inside, at least in a room away from windows, as this system heads your general direction. Prior to that, though, Gwynn Crossroads in the next several minutes, this strong wind could be heading your way. Posey School, Crooked Oak, and then a little bit farther down the line, Littleville around 8:48. Saints Crossroads around 8:53. C.C. Smith Elementary School, that strong wind could be heading your way around 9 o'clock later on this evening. For those of you listening on the radio around the Shoals this evening, those of you in Muscle Shoals, Florence, Tuscumbia, you are under a tornado warning. The good news is with that particular storm, the area of rotation is weakening some, but there is certainly still a damaging straight-line wind threat with that system and a lot of lightning associated with it. I'm sure you hear it and see it outside the window right now. There's a ton of lightning associated with that storm. And as I speak, it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for that exact storm I was talking about. New thunderstorm warning. So let's get the update here. All right, so new severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:45 for Colbert, Lauderdale, and Lawrence counties. So the good news is they're going to let that tornado warning expire for that northern storm at the bottom of this hour at 8:30. But they have continued a severe thunderstorm warning for Muscle Shoals and the surrounding locations until 8:45 this evening. Primary concern will be damaging straight-line winds, gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Could be some small hail in the mix as well. And they're going to keep a tornado tag with that severe thunderstorm warning. And what that means is that tornado is still possible with that storm. But if it were to occur, it would be brief and small. Confidence with the forecasters is not high enough to continue a tornado warning. So they decided to go with a tornado possible tag with that storm instead. And I think that's a good call, especially with the rotation broadening on that storm. As far as the southern storm is concerned, they will likely continue the tornado warning for the southern warned storm. So that is the one for Franklin and southern Colbert County. All right, so let's go back to our radar here. Continuing to see, we continue to have 2 tornado warnings active for northwest Alabama until the bottom of the hour. That's another 7 minutes. Northern Franklin County, southern Colbert County is this southern tornado warning. And then we have another tornado warning in effect for northern Colbert County and parts of Lauderdale County, also until 8:30. This northern one will be allowed to expire at the bottom of the hour and has been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Colbert, Lauderdale, and parts of Lawrence County. Damaging straight line wind, the primary threat there. Now, the National Weather Service just mentioned in their chat they will likely continue a tornado warning for the southern warned storm, so we may see a new warning issued for this southern storm as it continues to track across northern parts of Franklin County. So I'm going to zoom back in on that storm because it's getting closer and closer to Russellville. And as I mentioned, I still think there's primarily a straight line wind threat occurring right now, but there is this little appendage that we call a hook echo that at least opens the door for potential of this storm redeveloping rotation. There are no storms to the south to interfere with this storm. So again, it has open real estate to ingest warm, humid air that these supercells feed off of. And that's what it has fed off of over the past hour with tight rotation seen all the way back in Mississippi and now continuing in western parts of Franklin County. Let's see here if they have any. So this storm is moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. That means you folks in Russellville, again, you're not in a warning right now. I think you will be pretty soon, whether it's a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning. And that means that you need to be indoors right now and in your safe room away from windows is going to be ideal as well. 8:42, the approximate time for Russellville for the strongest part of the storm to arrive in your location. For Littleville, 8:49. Tharptown, 8:52. Newburgh, close to the top of the next hour, 8:58. Old Bethel, 9:03. Cottontown around 9:09, and then getting far out about an hour from now around Hatton as we continue its push into parts of Lawrence County. Lawrence County, you are not under any tornado warning right now. The northern part of the county is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 this evening. Damaging straight line winds possible with that particular storm. Looks like the National Weather Service canceled that severe thunderstorm warning. Still waiting to see if that was an accident or not. So stand by for that. That may have just been an accident. They may be reissuing that. So in the meantime, we'll keep you all folks aware of what's going on across the region. I do want to zoom back in on northern Franklin County. Again, this appendage is something to watch for possible redeveloping rotation. At this moment, the rotation does not look terribly strong, but that doesn't mean it couldn't recycle. Sometimes these storms take a breath and then redevelop and re-strengthen, and this storm has a history of producing very tight rotation. We do not have any confirmed tornado necessarily with this storm or either of the storms, but they have shown very strong signs that there may have been a tornado, whether it's in northeast Mississippi or northwest Alabama over the past hour or so. So let's pop up the velocity product here. So still looking like, generally speaking, perhaps some redeveloping rotation here. That's the Franklin and Colbert County line right there. Maybe some rotation developing here. I really think this is primarily straight line winds that could be rather intense, heading right for wind crossroads right now and pushing eastward. I think Russellville, you are in line for some strong straight line winds within the next 15 to 20 minutes. The last track was about 8:42 for you folks, the estimated time of arrival for your location. So we'll zoom out here. Looks like right along Highway 24 is where some strong wind gusts are ongoing. There's Russellville. That's not in the tornado warning right now. But the area of concern, especially right around here, just north of Highway 24, pushing east, would put Russellville right in line for, at the very least, some damaging straight line winds. If this decides to tighten up once again, that would be trouble for Russellville. So I continue to urge you folks in Russellville to remain in your shelter, even if you're not technically in the warning right now. We could see this storm redevelop and become dangerous within the next hour. All right, so it looks like they have just extended this tornado warning, and it's going to last until 9 o'clock this evening. Stand by. This will be popping up here any second on our screen. This new warning includes Franklin County, Colbert County, and now parts of Lawrence County. The severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Bell Green, or 8 miles northwest of Russellville, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So the new warning is on the screen. I'm going to take off the velocity so it makes it a little bit easier to see that warning. All right, there we go. All right, so here it is. New tornado warning right here in effect until 9 o'clock this evening, and now it does include western portions of Lawrence County, pretty much all of the northern section of Franklin County, now including Russellville. So if you needed more inspiration to get to your shelter in Russellville, here you go. New warning issued for you for this southern storm right here. It also includes southern parts of Colbert County. This tornado warning does not include the Shoals area around Muscle Shoals, Florence, Sheffield, or Tuscumbia. You are not under this tornado warning. You folks in the Shoals area are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45, damaging straight line wind, the primary concern for you folks up there. So at this point, we have one storm that we're concerned about tornadoes. It is the southern storm that is straddling the Franklin County and Colbert County county line right now, and it's getting closer and closer to Russellville. Another track of the the serious part of the storm is like this. So Russellville, again, about 10 to 15 minutes from now, area of concern will be arriving at your doorstep. Littleville, 8:49. Newburgh, around 8:59. Old Bethel, 9:03. Eventually, Town Creek, 9:17. And North Cortland, 9:24. So at that point, we're talking about Lawrence County. Those of you out there down the road could be looking at some serious wind and potentially a tornado threat as this tracks to the east fairly quickly. I do want to get a quick look here up north to the severe thunderstorm warned storm because this does affect a lot of people. This includes Muscle Shoals, and if you folks in production want to pop up our Muscle Shoals camera once again, I'm sure there is quite the light show ongoing out there. The rain falling in the Shoals at this hour, and damaging straight line wind, the primary concern in Muscle Shoals, Florence, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, surrounding locations right around that Lauderdale and Colbert County line. A lot of lightning, a very electrically charged storm going on there. Right now, does not look like there is much of a tornado threat with that storm in northern Colbert County and Lauderdale County. We'll let you know if that changes. But for the time being, this looks like more of a damaging straight line wind threat ongoing for this particular storm right here. That storm is pushing to the east at, let's stand by here, it looks like 40 miles per hour. Yeah, 45 miles per hour. And it looks like that was actually extended till 9 p.m., that severe thunderstorm warning. 60 mile per hour winds as well as 1 inch hail, quarter size hail, both are possible. I'm going to pull up our hail product, and I don't see anything popping up there right now other than maybe some very small hail north of Florence in parts of Lauderdale counties. I would doubt there's anything severe ongoing as far as hail is concerned. But there certainly could be some strong wind gusts ongoing in Lauderdale County. I think right here where you see that transition from the light red to the dark red, that's where some strong wind gusts may be ongoing, and that is right over Florence, right over Muscle Shoals right now. So I bet it's a gusty night right now around those more populated locations. The strongest of the wind will be clearing your location here pretty soon, but I do want you to remain inside until that severe thunderstorm warning expires at the top of this next hour at 9 o'clock. All right, back down to the tornado warned storm, and here is the reason they extended the warning, folks. Tight rotation ongoing right along that Franklin County, Colbert County line, right near Crooked Oak. Right there, folks. If you're in Crooked Oak, shelter immediately. You need to be indoors. There is tightening rotation. This has taken its breath. Now it's redeveloping once again with a possible tornado developing right along the county line. This is pushing to the east at about 45 miles per hour. This would be northwest of Russellville right now. And if you live in Littleville, you definitely need to be in your shelter right now as it is heading in your general direction. The storm is moving east at 45 miles per hour. Let me zoom out so I can get an immediate track for you folks in line to potentially be affected by this storm here. Again, Littleville, Crooked Oak, indoors in your shelter immediately. Over the next half hour or so. Crooked Oak, I mean, it is right on your doorstep right now. Littleville, about 8:45. Mountain Star, 8:48. St. Crossroads, arrival time of 8:54. Top of the hour at 9 o'clock for Old Bethel. C.C. Smith Elementary School around 9:01. I want you folks that are in the tornado warning that may be heading to your shelter to know that even though you maybe have to step away from your TV, you can still watch our streaming coverage on WAAYTV.com. You can watch it on your phone on the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. We are streaming live there. We are on Facebook Live as well. Search for WAAY TV, and we are on all those locations. So you can take our coverage with you, even if you do have to step away from the TV, maybe step away from the radio as well. There are multiple ways to continue to follow along. I will try to be as concise and clear as possible about what is ongoing for those of you that may be on the road as well, listening on your radio. The area of rotation ongoing right now, right along the Franklin and Colbert County lines, about 7 miles northwest of Russellville, and it is moving due east. So the area of greatest concern as far as rotation is concerned is going to stay just north of the center of Russellville. If you live in the rural parts, maybe north of Russellville, you are in line to be affected by this area of tightening rotation that is approaching Littleville in southern parts of Colbert County. This is concerning for Littleville, no doubt about that. Arrival time for Littleville, about 10 minutes from now. You need to be in your shelter, which is the lowest level of your home, away from windows, and just hunker down. Follow along here. We'll keep you safe and keep you up to date on what's going on as best as we possibly can. And we're going to be here throughout the night tonight as this tornado threat continues across North Alabama. For those of you farther north with the other storm that was once tornado warned, that is no longer tornado warned. This is now a severe thunderstorm warning that stretches into northern parts of Lawrence County. It includes now Rogersville in eastern parts of Lauderdale County. It also, of course, includes Florence and Muscle Shoals. Damaging straight-line wind, quarter-size hail possible with that severe thunderstorm warned storm. That is in effect until 9 o'clock this evening. But I do want to get back to this tornado warning because this is of primary concern right now. Tornado warning continues. It was located, now there's National Weather Service is saying near Littleville, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Littleville, you need to be in your shelter immediately. There may be a slight delay in the radar product that we're getting back compared to what's actually happening. So in reality, it could be maybe a little bit closer to here. That's just the way the radar works. It takes a couple minutes to send that signal. But general rotation right along that Colbert-Franklin County line, moving east, heading right for Littleville right now, just north of Russellville. It's going to be crossing Highway 43 in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm going to read an update real quick here from the National Weather Service. They're saying there's some evidence of rotation. And, yeah, they're just reiterating what I've been saying, that there is some rotation ongoing here right along this area, stretching from the Colbert County line. And right here, there could be some strong straight-line winds ongoing as well. So at the very least in Russellville, you are going to be experiencing some damaging straight-line winds or nearly damaging straight-line winds approaching Highway 43 in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I would say the area of rotation and of concern continues to be here. Does not look quite as menacing as it did about 5 minutes ago, but still of great concern as this system continues to push east toward that Highway 43 corridor here in northern parts of Franklin County and southern parts of Colbert County at this hour. I do want to kind of reset and get a broad view of what's going on across all of North Alabama. Because those of you in Huntsville may be wondering, hey, what's going on? Are we going to see any of this severe weather later on? We do have showers developing across the Tennessee Valley at this moment. The strongest of the storms certainly farther to the north and west right now, but they are pushing eastward. So down the line, once we head into the 9 o'clock hour, Decatur and Athens, at the very least, you are going to see some strong storms head your way. I would guesstimate that the timing of these strong storms to arrive in Huntsville, probably around 10 to 10:30. That would be my estimate at this time as for the strongest storms to potentially affect you folks. All right, let's go ahead and get back to that tornado warning continuing until 9 o'clock this evening. This includes northeast Franklin County, southeast Colbert County, western parts of Lawrence County. If you are in this warning box, if you hear the siren sounding, if you got an alert on your phone, all reasons to get into your shelter immediately as soon as you possibly can. If you know someone that lives in this tornado-warned area, including Russellville, maybe give them a call just to make sure that they got the heads up that there is a strong storm heading their way right now. Area of concern continues to be between Russellville and Littleville right now. Not a lot of lightning with this storm compared to the northern storm in Lauderdale County, but that doesn't mean this isn't potentially developing rotation, because there is still rotation ongoing here, again, between Littleville, between Russellville right now. At the very least, there could very well be some strong straight-line winds that are approaching town right now. So over the next 5 to 10 minutes is when the worst of this storm will be passing over Russellville, moving east at about 40 miles per hour. So it's going to be tracking into Lawrence County as we head into the 9 o'clock hour. Here's the latest on the estimated times. Littleville, next few minutes, arriving at your doorstep. Tharptown, 8:51. Old Bethel, 9:01. Wolf Springs, 9:06. Hatton, 9:11. Muck City, 9:18. Moulton, 9:24. And Hillsborough, around 9:34. Now, do we know if this is going to remain a tornado or tornadic storm at that point an hour from now? No, we do not. I would say, in fact, it's more likely that it starts to weaken, but we still need to pay close attention, be weather aware of what's heading down the pike here over the next hour. And as I mentioned earlier, that folks along I-65, maybe closer to the 10 o'clock hours when some of these strong storms could be heading your general direction. It could be a dangerous night across North Alabama. Tornado watch in effect until 2 o'clock this morning for the majority of our North Alabama counties. This does include Huntsville and all of Madison County. And as you can see, the majority of our area continuing to be under the gun here for potential severe weather through the night tonight. So let's walk you through it hour by hour. The storms in northwest Alabama right now will push to the east over the next few hours, primarily staying near and north of the Tennessee River through about midnight, and these could potentially train over the same locations, and that's when we're going to be transitioning maybe from a tornado threat to a flood threat for the Tennessee River. There is potential for 2 to 3 inches of rain in spots. This will eventually merge into a strong line that then drifts southeast as we move through the night. By 1 o'clock, we finally start to see those storms get closer to Coleman and Gunnersville. Between now and then, you guys down there may stay pretty dry, but eventually these strong storms should head your direction. And once we get to the 2, 3 o'clock hour, that severe threat should be winding down. We will continue to have scattered showers and storms across the region for the rest of the night, but the severe threat should be wrapped up at that point. I do not anticipate severe weather as we head into the morning drive on Thursday, but it certainly could be wet. The roads could be damp to say the least, if not flooded in some spots. So it could be a slow go for the morning drive as we head into Thursday morning. Just something to keep in mind and maybe plan ahead for it to be a little bit slower than normal come tomorrow morning. All right, Dan, let's toss it over to you real quick for an update on power outages.
All right, real quick, Taylor, we wanted to mention to folks watching us out in the shoals that we are also broadcasting simultaneously our severe weather coverage on several radio stations out there, the Singing River broadcasting radio stations. And so if you want to know what those are, it's WLAY FM 100.1, My 101.5, the Bull 94.9, and the Big Dog 105.5. They're simulcasting our severe weather coverage. Power outages, we're getting more reports of power outages out there in the shoals. This is specifically coming to you from the Florence Utilities power outage map you're looking at right there. You see that big red bullseye? That's 820 customers without power. That is in the Killen area, just between Killen and Russellville, is a little bit farther off to the east. Rogersville. So closer to Killen, 820 customers there. The little there's a little orange dot. You can't see if you zoomed in, though. You'd see that 28 just to the south of that near the Tennessee River. And we're still looking at about 58 customers without power in and near the Florence area. So these storms are doing some damage. As Taylor's been telling you about, there are quite a few lightning strikes to contend with out there. These things are putting out copious amounts of lightning. Taylor, you know, I come from Florida. It's the lightning capital of the country down there in central Florida. So I take lightning very, very seriously. It's a very dangerous weather phenomenon. A lot of folks, most people don't get killed in the height of the storm when all the lightning's happening. They're usually killed by either the first bolt or the last bolt. So you're either out too long before that storm hits, or you go out too early after you think that storm has passed. So stay indoors. The general rule, I believe, is still about 30 minutes, correct, after you hear that last thunderbolt before you can get outside. But we're also concerned about wind damage, and we're tracking severe thunderstorms, and also still, until about 9 o'clock of another 18 minutes or so, a tornado warning for southeastern Colbert County, northeastern Franklin County and northwestern Lawrence County. That storm racing off to the east right now, and you're tracking it, as I can see right behind you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, Dan, you're correct, and actually shining example of lightning kind of developing ahead before a storm starts. There was just a second ago here a lightning strike where it wasn't raining just ahead of this nasty storm. So that's a perfect example of just being aware of what's coming your way, even though you may not have even heard of heard of thunder in your particular location. It only takes one strike to potentially change your life. So just be weather aware this evening. These storms are gradually moving from west to east, and here is the latest timeline for this tornado-warned storm. Mountain Star looks like the area of greatest concern as far as rotation and damaging wind is really right on your doorstep, 846. Saints Crossroads, the area of concern should arrive in your location around 852. Old Bethel around 859. Wolf Springs 904. Hatton 909, Rigdom 916, and then North Cortland around 920. That's when we're crossing into Lawrence County at that point as we get toward the top of the hour. So I would say another 15 minutes or so of concern for northeast parts of Franklin County, and then this will finally be out of your hair after what's been a scary hour for you folks, especially in northern parts of Franklin County and southern parts of Colbert County as well. It's been a pretty scary ongoing scene here. Littleville, you're dealing with some heavy rainfall. Not a ton of lightning, but there are a few strikes associated with that storm ongoing with that tornado warning, which again continues until 9 o'clock for northern parts of Franklin County and southern parts of Colbert County. Looks like there was a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued ahead of that one. Nope, I'm sorry, it's for this northern storm here. So severe thunderstorm warning continues until 9 o'clock for eastern parts of Colbert County, eastern parts of Lauderdale County, and northern parts of Lawrence County. This is an updated warning, and it looks like Muscle Shoals has now been removed from that severe thunderstorm warning. Florence as well. Looks like the worst of the storm has passed you by. Leading up toward Killen, continuing to see maybe some of the stronger winds at this moment, right near 184 at this moment. Highway 72 being affected by heavy rainfall, and this continues to be an electrically charged storm as it crosses over not only into Lawrence County, but down the line into Limestone County. Some of that lightning beginning to pop up as well. So we'll be monitoring that storm as it heads towards Limestone County in the next hour or so. But again, this severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 9 o'clock. There is that tornado possible threat there, which means their confidence is not high enough to issue a full-blown tornado warning, but it's not completely out of the question that a brief tornado could still possibly develop along that storm that's moving through Lauderdale and northern Colbert County right now. The rotation still looks fairly broad with this southern storm here. If there is rotation, it continues to be just between Littleville and Russellville right now, right around here. Not as concerned about it as I was maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago. There still could be some rotation, especially right near the state line. Let me pull up the velocity once again. Again, updated look at that. Nothing that's screaming that there's definitely a tornado on the ground right now. There is broad rotation, though. It could tighten at a moment's notice, so this is not something to take lightly. I still want you to be in your shelter if you live in northeast Franklin or southern parts of Colbert County. Again, I think there's some very strong straight-line winds ongoing right here. You see those bright pinks, those magentas popping up. That is strong easterly winds developing as we speak right now. It could, again, be some broad rotation near Littleville on the edge of that damaging wind threat as well. So kind of just a couple of areas that we are monitoring. This is pushing east. It will be crossing into Lawrence County close to the top of the hour. We've mentioned Hatton as a possible area that could be affected. It does look like it's heading in that general direction. The worst of this storm maybe avoids Town Creek, but there is some strong wind heading toward Town Creek right now with the northern storm. So kind of an interesting situation for Town Creek where you have two storms that are probably going to be passing fairly close by to you over the next hour or so. As far as rain is concerned, definitely some heavy rain ongoing across the region. There might be some hail in the mix as well, although that has not been as much of a threat. We'll pop up our hail tracker to see if it's getting any signs of anything recently. Not seeing anything here really with this storm. Might be very modest hail there, but yeah, not much hail being shown on our hail tracker right now. So this is primarily going to be a damaging wind threat ongoing for us. There's our Muscle Shoals radar. And as you can see here, it does have kind of a general sign of some rotation here, but again, it gets kind of bogged down in all the rain that continues to surround that radar. So we do require multiple views from our entire early warning radar network to give us the picture of what's going on right now. And what's going on right now is still some broad rotation located between Littleville and Russellville right now. It looks like that rotation has crossed Highway 43, so it's now east of Highway 43. That there could be some rotation, damaging straight-line winds moving across far northeast Franklin County and far southern parts of Colbert County. This dangerous storm is going to be pushing into western Lawrence County over the next 15 to 20 minutes. And the damaging wind is likely ongoing, not only with this tornado-warned storm, but also up north here in eastern Colbert County with the severe thunderstorm-warned storm that continues until 9 o'clock. I mentioned Town Creek. There are likely going to be some strong wind gusts heading your way here pretty soon. No tornado threat for Town Creek immediately, but certainly some damaging straight-line winds will be possible for you. Eastern parts of Lauderdale County could be experiencing some gusty winds along with the heavy downpours. And there continues to be a strong signal for some very strong straight-line winds just to the east of Russellville as we head to the bottom or the top of this next hour here. That continues to be a threat. For the rest of us across the area, let's zoom out and get a look at the broad picture of what's going on at this very hour. We're looking at rain showers developing across farther to the east, but nothing severe at the moment. We have passing showers around Huntsville over to Scottsboro. And I'll put a loop on for the last 30 minutes. You can see the general track of these very strong storms is west to east. So I think Limestone County, you will be next in line for potentially some strong storms, potentially severe weather as well. Close to 10 o'clock, I think, is when we'll see the heavy downpours and maybe some severe weather approach Huntsville. Notice initially these are going to stay near and north of the Tennessee River. And this could be the beginning of what could be a flood event for North Alabama throughout the night tonight, because we have more storms developing back in Mississippi. Those are going to continue to track over the same areas, and we call that training. When these thunderstorms follow the same path and drop a load of rain, we are looking at potential for inches of rainfall to collect in some communities. And as long as we continue to see these storms build over the same locations and pass over the same areas, that will continue to be a problem as we move into the late night, and maybe for the morning commute tomorrow, that could be a problem as well. Tornado warning ongoing for northern and especially northeast parts of Franklin County. It does include Russellville. The worst of the storm looks to have passed you in Russellville at this moment. Same for Littleville. I would say right near that Colbert and Franklin County line is where we are looking at the area of greatest concern. And I still think it's primarily damaging wind. That's the primary concern. But this could tighten into a tornado at any time, so that's why we continue to have the tornado warning until the top of this next hour. Really approaching that intersection of Lawrence, Franklin, and Colbert counties at this very moment, which looks pretty rural. The next town in line after that does appear to be Hatton along Highway 101 and 157. That intersection there. You can anticipate heavy downpours followed by potentially some damaging wind gusts heading your way as we head into the 9 o'clock hour. No updates from the National Weather Service beyond that. And not seeing any updates as far as damage. If you do have any damage reports and can safely pass that along, you can send us an email at news@waaytv.com. Hopefully we don't get any reports, but certainly is possible with the ongoing situation across the region with these ongoing strong storms in northwest Alabama. No word from the National Weather Service that they will extend this tornado warning. If they do, we will remain on the air here with you. And as long as there's a threat, we will remain on the air with you. I will say over the past 5 minutes, this storm, the rotation with it has weakened pretty notably. Still, certainly could be looking at some very strong wind gusts right around here, around that Colbert-Franklin County line. That is moving east at 40 miles per hour or so. Damaging straight-line winds upwards of 60 miles per hour will be possible with this storm, this tornado-warned storm, and it will also be possible with the storm farther to the north, which continues to be severe thunderstorm warned until 9 o'clock this evening. That severe thunderstorm warning includes eastern parts of Lauderdale County, northern parts of Lawrence County, and eastern parts of Colbert County. That warning, again, in effect until 9 o'clock. So another 8 minutes or so before that warning expires, and it's going to be right where those heavy, those red colors are. That's where the heavy rain is. Likely some very strong wind gusts associated with that, moving toward Town Creek and maybe up the road there into Lauderdale County as well. Get ready for some strong wind gusts if you live in Rogersville and Anderson. The wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour possible in your locations. Still no sign of rotation anywhere with that severe thunderstorm warning storm, so that is good news. There is broad rotation with this tornado warning, but the rotation is weakening here, and that is a great sign. And we are getting an update from Huntsville. They say, based on the current trends, we expect to replace that southern tornado warning supercell with a severe thunderstorm warning in the next 10 minutes. Rotation has broadened out, and they say damaging wind will remain the primary concern. That's exactly what I'm seeing as well. So I think that's definitely good news for you folks in Lawrence County that may be concerned about what's going on here. So just to reiterate, National Weather Service is going to allow this tornado warning to remain in place until 9 o'clock. Down the line, ahead of that, they're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning instead of a tornado warning. So by 9 o'clock, we should be tornado warning free across North Alabama, which is fantastic news, and hopefully this is the last tornado warning we have for the rest of the night. As we move through the night, again, we will continue to have some semblance of a tornado threat. Tornado watch will remain in place until 2 o'clock this morning. But as the night wears on, that threat for tornadoes will start to drop off, and we'll probably transition more to a flood concern, as well as a damaging wind threat across North Alabama throughout the night tonight. In the immediate future, in the next hour, we're going to be watching this cluster of storms to approach I-65 during the 9 o'clock hour. And I would imagine right around 10 or 10:30 is when some of these heavy downpours, potentially severe storms, could head toward Huntsville. So that is the time to maybe plan ahead if you live in Madison or Huntsville, to definitely be hunkering down. Of course, it's late in the evening, so I wouldn't imagine too many people will be out and about. But still, if you know anyone that was planning on being out and about, just let them know that, hey, some strong storms heading that general direction. General track for the next hour or so, again, puts Huntsville close to the top of the 10 o'clock hour. Madison maybe a little bit sooner than that. It's going to depend on just how fast the momentum of this system goes. But just a general idea, Decatur, the heavier downpours start arriving along with the strong wind gusts close to 9:19 this evening. Ardmore closer to 9:31, although, of course, near the state line, we are seeing some showers developing there as well. Again, Madison to Madison Crossroads around 9:38 to 9:41, and Huntsville closer to 10 o'clock is when some of the strongest parts of this particular storm will begin to head into the metro. That will likely be the first of what is going to be several waves of storm moving into Huntsville throughout the night tonight. So we are looking at a developing situation with not only severe weather, but also potential flooding as well. Looks like this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. That includes Colbert, Franklin, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Limestone, and Morgan counties right here. So Athens, parts of Decatur, included in this new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until 9:30 this evening. We're looking at damaging straight-line winds of 60 miles per hour, hail less than nickel size possible with this storm. So basically, they're just continuing to severe thunderstorm warn not only this northern part, but they've joined it up with the southern edge as well and just made it one big warning as they are looking at a lessening tornado threat and more of a damaging straight-line wind threat as we head into this next hour or so. There's the warning box right there, again, stretching from the intersection here of Lawrence and Morgan counties up through Decatur to Athens to the state line, stretching back toward Lauderdale County, eastern Colbert County, and extreme northeast portions of Franklin County. So this is good for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Anyone that's going to be experiencing these storms right here primarily are looking at a damaging straight line wind event. And I'm going to put a track to give you an estimate on timing here one more time. And this is just approximate, so take it with a grain of salt. So this is moving west to east around 40 to 45 miles per hour. Hillsborough 909, Trinity 916, Decatur around 920 to 925, Woodfin Mill around 929, Priceville 935 this evening, Madison 946, Terry Heights around 956. Again, those times may have looked slightly different than the track I showed you a couple of minutes ago. This is just approximate. So around 940, 945 or so for you folks in Madison is when some of the stronger parts of this storm will be heading your direction. And I can pretty much guarantee we're going to get heavy downpours and lots of lightning. That is a pretty safe bet for those of you in the far northern part of Alabama, and that will eventually include Decatur and Huntsville. Whether or not we see severe weather remains to be seen, but these have had a history of producing some strong wind gusts, and the gusts can be strong enough to knock out power, which was the case around the shoals within the last hour or so. So those of you in Huntsville, just be mindful that power outages are possible tonight. All of us in North Alabama, be mindful of that. The winds with these storms could be powerful enough to knock out power. That is a possibility. Now is a good time to charge your phone just in case that does happen. So you, of course, can keep that charged as long as possible. So make sure you're at a full charge on your phone. Make sure your shelter's in place in case we have additional tornadoes that develop as we head into the overnight hours. And I want to reiterate, please have a way to receive warning information, whether it's our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app that has push alerts that will be sent to your phone if a warning is issued for your location, whether you're watching us on TV, listening to our radio partners, National Weather Service weather radio as well, and you can watch our streaming coverage on all those locations that you see there below me. So multiple ways to stay atop of the active weather across the region. Again, we apologize for interrupting programming, but we're just here to keep folks as safe as possible. This has been a dangerous situation with strong signs of rotation with two storms in northwest Alabama over the past hour or so. It does look like this tornado warning here has been allowed to expire. So that is great news for you folks in Colbert, Franklin, and Lawrence counties. At this point, we are looking at a damaging straight-line wind event developing across the severe thunderstorm warned locations. So one more time, I'll walk you through the severe thunderstorm warned locations. This warning is in effect until 9:30 this evening. It includes Colbert County, Franklin County, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Limestone, and Morgan counties. The eastern edge of this warning goes out to Decatur and Athens, as well as parts of the I-65 corridor. The severe thunderstorm warning does not include the city of Huntsville, but if it maintains its strength, it may approach Huntsville as we get close to 10 o'clock this evening, and we will be watching out for the potential of damaging straight-line winds, torrential downpours, making it very difficult to drive as well, as is currently the case around Rogersville and along Highway 72. Certainly tough ongoing travel across North Lawrence County and eastern parts of Lauderdale County. That activity will be heading toward Limestone County here pretty soon, within the next 20 to 30 minutes. All right, so at this time, I do not think there is any immediate tornado threat at all. A rotation with all these storms has been winding down. Again, this one severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 9:30 this evening. And at this point, that is all that we have ongoing across North Alabama. So that is certainly good news. All right, at this point, I think it's a safe time to send our WAAY 31 programming on ABC back to regular programming. As far as those of you watching on Facebook Live, as well as on our website and on our Storm Tracker weather app, I will continue with coverage as we walk you through this stormy weather through this next hour. You can watch us on WAAY 31 News at 10 as well. I will have the latest updates on the severe weather and flood potential across North Alabama for the rest of the night. Again, for those of you watching on ABC, we'll go ahead and send it back to regular programming.